Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about South Carolina results and the step back, actually, the end of Pete Buttigieg's campaign. All right, so we're talking about the end of Pete Buttigieg's campaign. So let's talk about suspending. All right, this is a hot new word. Every candidate's using it. They're saying, I'm suspending my campaign. It means I quit. It means I surrender. It means I'm done. It means I'm finished. It means I'm over, right? We as American citizens need to understand that there are always, especially when you're dealing with a politician, a politician who was a politician before they ran to be a politician, there has to be a translation of their words. Excuse me, sorry. So basically, there's no question. When you say suspend, it's so that they could jump back in, but we need surety on the ground, and so this is functionally quitting. It's functionally surrendering, and so we should just treat it as surrendering and quitting. I did that when Andrew Yang suspended his campaign. I'm doing that when Pete suspended his campaign. He's quitting. He's surrendering. He's saying it's over. He's saying I'm done, right? He's finished, all right? So whenever you hear a politician say I'm suspending my campaign, it means they're dropping out, okay? We need to interpret it as they're dropping out. And the reason why is these politicians are not being, they want every option open to them. They want to be able to say, they want to be able to claim for, a whole bunch of different purposes that they dropped out, but then be able to jump right back in whenever they want. And and we need, American people need some surety. So I feel like it's perfectly okay to interpret all candidates who say I'm suspending my campaign as quit, donezo, over, finished, period, end of sentence. Right, because we need some sanity too, and this needs to be fair. And language needs to be used in a fair way. Okay, all right. So Pete's dropped out, right? Suspended, whatever. All right. So Pete is out of the race. Okay, and this is shocking. This is incredibly shocking. And the reason it says a lot. Okay, so first let's process what happened in South Carolina, because South Carolina is a big reason for why this happened. All right, so right now the numbers as they're being reported boy, you know what? I'm gonna stay focused. Here we go. All right, here's what happened in South Carolina: 35 delegates going to Joe Biden, and 13 delegates going to Sanders. And here's the rest. First of all, Tom Steyer's gone. He's out. Okay. Pete Buttigieg, he's gone. He's out. Okay. Both of them goose-egged. Mike Bloomberg, goose-egg in South Carolina. I don't even think he was on the ballot. Right. Talk about showing up late for work. Boy, Mike Bloomberg is these billionaires. It is absolutely credible. They're showing up at the office at noon and telling everybody to get to work. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like this, where Mike Bloomberg's I don't need to worry about the four voting events. I could just campaign the way I want. I don't need to respect American voters or respect history or respect process or respect anything. Right? I'm a billionaire. Why do I need to do that? Right? I don't need to respect entire states. I can tell entire states you don't matter. Right? Mike Bloomberg's South Carolina, I don't care about you. Right? I'm not even going to bother to get on your ballot. I don't need your delegates. Right? Saying Iowa, I don't need your. Mike Bloomberg's Iowa, you don't matter. Right? Mike Bloomberg's Nevada. Are there people that live there? Right? Mike Bloomberg, it is shocking that he is asking for Americans to vote for him. He's a presidential campaign who couldn't get his stuff together enough to get on the ballot in the first four voting events, and he expects us to think he can run his country? He can't even run a campaign, right? He can't even get on the ballot in all the states. This is outrageous. It is incredibly disrespectful to those states. South Carolina, Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada Mike Bloomberg's like, I do not care about you. I'm not even going to take the time to get on the ballot in your states. I don't care about your votes. I don't care about your people. That's my paraphrase, but I feel like that's the message he's sending. And the idea that anybody would be like, listen, I don't have my stuff together enough to get on the ballot in every state, but you could trust me to run the country. No, I don't think we can. Right? Like, Mike Bloomberg is like, his campaign is a joke. It's worse than a joke, right? Like, it's not funny. It's not funny. Like, you can't roll into the office at noon, with a latte in your hand and say, get to work, everybody. It's time to work now. No, it was time to work in like 2018. All right. This is outrageous. It is outrageous. Like, it's so bad. All right. But Mike Bloomberg, of course, goose-egged in South Carolina. Oh boy, here we go. Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar goose-egged absolute goose-egg in South Carolina. That's a major, major problem. We've got a serious, serious problem here. And so where we've landed in all of this is we are now in a place where Biden has surged back, okay? And people are saying, is this a revival of his campaign? Because it looked like his balloon has popped. It looked like he was a shallow puddle in the sun and was quickly evaporating. So here we are saying, is Biden a thing? Can he matter? Is this real? Are we gonna arrive where everybody thinks we're gonna arrive? And it is pretty incredible. And I'm like, whoa, this is really something. All right, so this is how we're getting to this point, okay? And all right, so essentially South Carolina flips the table. Biden wins for the first time in the first four voting events, and reminds everybody that he's a political force, which people were seriously doubting that to this point. And so here's where we stand with the total counts. The total counts is 58 Sanders, 50 for Biden. Pete Buttigieg at 26. 26. That's an important number. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then Elizabeth Warren at 8 and Amy Klobuchar at 7. Okay? So get this. All right? Now, South Carolina happens, and Pete Buttigieg comes over and says, that's it, people. I'm calling it. I'm doing so terribly in the race that I can't possibly continue to run, right? And you're like, what? Okay, wait, what? Right? It was shocking. I could not believe it. I was like, are we hearing this? I was stunned by this news. So Pete Buttigieg dropped out before Super Tuesday, okay? Now, people asked him, why are you doing this? And he went, blah, 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 right? And I'm telling you right now, you can go find whatever the answer he said. I heard it. It didn't. That was squawk, squawk, squawk. That was political speech for. There's a reason, but I certainly can't tell you. Like, now, why do I think that Pete Buttigieg is dropping out right now before Super Tuesday? Here's why. So one, a lot of people like to point to like, oh, it's all rigged. I don't believe that. I don't believe that American politics are rigged. I believe what is happening. I don't believe there was any type of illegal activity involved in Pete Buttigieg dropping out. None. Okay? I think political influence was involved. Political influence in America is not illegal, right? I'm a huge politics fan, and so of course, and I'm a huge rap fan. So of course, I really, really like the play Hamilton. And there's a song in that play called "The Room Where It Happened." And I'll tell you right now, Pete Buttigieg dropping out of this campaign. There was a room where it happened. Like, somebody got together with him. It could have been somebody on Biden's campaign. It could have been somebody from the DNC. It could have been somebody from Sanders' campaign. And I think somebody met with him and said, listen, we have some ability to win goodwill with the American people. We have systems in place that allow us to attempt to win goodwill with the people. These systems are time-tested and time-proved, right? And so we really think that we can help you. right? And I don't think there's anything illegal going on. I think it's just political influence being used extremely well. And you can build political influence completely legally, and then you can implement it, right? People don't like to hear that, right? They're like, oh, every voice is equal. No, every voice is not equal in politics. That is not the case, okay? And we can create it that way. All we got to do is elect politicians that will set that system up. And until we do that, nobody's got a right to complain about where we're at now, right? So political influence is still a thing, and there's nothing illegal about it. But I truly believe that Pete Buttigieg, this is totally my opinion. I have no proof of this. This is purely my speculation. I believe somebody offered Pete a guaranteed VP slot, and if that VP slot is with, and I think it is my opinion that it was Biden or Sanders or both in conjunction together, right? And so, and if that's the case with either one of them, they're like, come on, it's an 80-year-old president. Neither one of us promised to run for one office, which means it's an 87-year-old, 86 or 87-year-old president. You're almost guaranteed to be president, Pete. You want it? And he's like, oh yeah, I do. That's what I think happened. Yeah, that is exactly what I think happened. I think you're looking at a road that Pete's like, oh yeah, I get to be president. Nobody's even got to vote for me. Oh yeah, I'm in for that. Let's do it, right? And so that's I think exactly, because I don't think the nonsense he spouted about why he was dropping out before Super Tuesday when he was in third place for delegate count is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous nonsense that doesn't even bear worth repeating. Like the most political spin jargon I've ever heard. It was crazy. Excuse me. So this is really something. So my prediction is it was Biden. I think Pete will be picked up as Biden's VP. I think there's a possibility too that he could be. I would say it's like a 75% chance Pete will be picked up as Biden's VP, and I think there's about a 15% chance he'll be picked up as Sanders' VP. But I think the future for Pete is as VP. Okay. All right. So that's why I think Pete Buttigieg dropped out. Now there's kind of an ugly creature sitting in the corner of the room that we all got to look at and talk about. And that is, oh my gosh, what does Pete dropping out say about Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar? It says a lot. It's really bad what it says. So basically, Pete Buttigieg comes to the American people like 2 days before Super Tuesday and says, listen, Biden has 58, or Sanders has 58, and Biden has 50, and I have 26. Only two other candidates in the race have any delegates. That's Amy Klobuchar and that's Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren. I'm paraphrasing. This is all paraphrasing. This to me is the message that Pete Buttigieg is saying with his action, right? He spoke some words. Those are easily ignored. They mean nothing. And his actions say the following. He's like, okay, everybody, this is what I think Pete is saying with his action of dropping out of the election, and it is a terrifying message, right? And in my opinion, pretty disrespectful to two candidates. So let's get into it. So Pete's action is saying the following, in my opinion. Okay, everybody, Sanders has 58 delegates, Biden has 50. I have 26 delegates. Only two other candidates have delegates. That's Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth has 8 delegates and Amy Klobuchar has 7. I'm going to now tell you that with 26 delegates and being in third place and having very good momentum, that I cannot continue to run. My numbers are laughable, and I should remove myself from the campaign immediately, right? Because I'm not a real candidate and I can't really win. What? Like what? Okay, now here's the problem with that, right? Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren are in it to win it. They're going the distance. They're really trying to compete here, right? No pun intended with the word compete. Okay, so now the problem is, if Pete's like, look at my terrible numbers and my terrible momentum, which is so bad, it's not even worth continuing to try. like putting his hand on his forehead. Oh me, oh my. Wait, like Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar are real candidates. If you're saying that you are a laughable, no momentum candidate that can no longer be considered for a vote in Super Tuesday, and you have a number that is higher than all of Elizabeth Warren's delegates and all of Amy Klobuchar's delegates combined, plus 11 more delegates. Like, if you cloned Elizabeth Warren and her clone was given an equal amount of delegates, you're still beating the three of them, like Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren's clone, and you're still beating those competitors, right? And you're saying, oh yeah, forget me, I'm out, I'm done. That is horrible. It's so disrespectful to Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren. They are really trying to give this nation its first female president. And I feel like Pete is really, really doing a disservice to them to say that with numbers higher than both of theirs combined, plus 10, right? Like that he's a laughable, like, non-competitor. Like, what's that say about them? He's like, oh, you sure as that can't vote for them, right? Like, this whole ball of wax is between Sanders and Biden. I'm like, holy cows, that's an incredible statement. That is a shocking statement. Like, so, oh man, like, oh boy, this is not good. So that's where we're at. This is an incredible occurrence, and I will tell you right now, I love this country. I do. I love this country. So I do not like to see chaos happening for America. Oh, but boy, do I like the show, man. Like, whoo, man, oh man. Like, this is my football season, and people, I can't watch football. Not at any level. Like, I'm just like, did that person throw that ball to somebody else? I don't know what happened, right? Like, but people sit down and they get so excited, and they're eating their nachos and eating their wings and yelling at each other and, like, celebrating to each other because they're so excited, and so, like, just the spectacle of it makes them so excited, and it's just an amazing event. This is where I'm at. Like, holy cows! Like, every day there's a new revelation. I was at a tabletop role-playing game last night with my buddies, and my wife, she's really, she is so ride or die for me. She's like, really, she's the best. Like, she texted me and she's like, Pete's out. It's like, so, like, and my wife, she used to not care about politics, but she loves my fervor for it, and she's been supportive. And, and she knew the import, and she knew I needed to be texted right away, like, and it was exciting. And, like, boy, this is, I've never seen anything like this election. There was definitely a room where it happened. I'm telling you, I think Biden, I really, really, really think that Pete was offered the VP slot, and that's what, by Biden or Sanders. I can't figure it out which. I think it was Biden, but I think there's a good chance he'll get to be Sanders VP too. Or Sanders VP, but I think it was Biden. I think Biden offered him VP status if he dropped now, and it's a political play. It's like this is the Prince Machiavelli, man. We're there, and I'm eating it up, man. This is, like, so exciting. I'm really curious. So, do you think I'm right about why Pete dropped out? Do you think I'm right about what his dropping out says about Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren, and that it's incredibly disrespectful to them? Or do you think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.